document that is created. Now what this guy will do, okay, there is a ransomware attack, open up the IMF and start following this particular step. Okay, this is what the SOC team will do. There is a alert from, let's say, WAF solution. Okay, WAF solution. Now WAF solution, again, it is integrated with SIM, but he will be able to see that, okay, something, some attack that is getting generated on this particular WAF console. Now what he will do, okay, he will open the IMF for WAF solution. Within the WAF, within that particular IMF, there is step number 1, there is step number 2, there is step number 3. He will start following this particular IMF. Are you getting my point? So the point, to answer your question, Maithili, he is not specialized. SOC team is not specialized in any single tool. What they will do is, they will identify that something fishy that is going on, and then they will act as a part of their run book. They will act as a part of their SOP. They will act as a part of their IMF, incident management flow. Something is not going on, something is not going right. These are the steps that I need to follow. He will not understand what is file integrity monitoring, what is the SHA value, or what. He will basically understand the full form of it maybe, but not exactly how it is working in the background. This is exactly where you guys will come into the picture as an administrator. That boss, file integrity monitoring works in this particular certain ways. Okay, am I clear? Any questions on SOC or SIEM?
Mm, so basically, SOC team, though they won't be able to understand the technicalities, but they would be able to understand that where it is going wrong. I mean, they would be
Yes,
able to read it that this is the area which is concerned, and they'll, according to their IMF, they'll act and connect with that team or that admin, FIM admin, or any sort of tool.
exactly. Now you get it. Now you get it. They will understand, okay, something is not going right, so they will, in this particular SOP, right, in this particular IMF also, there is, you have the information that is very very clear. Okay, they also might write your name as well. Okay, reach out to Maithili, try to understand what is the what phishing, or what abnormality that is happening in the server, so they can do that as well. So when you guys create this IMF, right, they will ask you as well to, key boss, how to detect the changes and stuff like that, and accordingly this particular IMF is created. IMF is created. Okay. So this is a very very important concept. Now coming back to the question that you had. Okay, you mentioned about file integrity monitoring, about the piece, one of the PCI DSS requirement, and you also mentioned about real time detection. Okay, now there are two different concepts as I just discussed. File integrity monitoring, yes, it is one of the requirement of PCI DSS. If I'm not wrong, it is 10.3.4 or it is 10.4.3, something of that sort. I don't remember the exact requirement, but it is in the requirement number 10 that they have, that file integrity monitoring solution should be in place, and also it needs to be monitored. Okay, just by having it, as I mentioned, uh, I do have a file integrity monitor, but if I don't have the people, okay, in order to monitor it, it's of absolutely no use. Okay, because if suppose there is something fishy that is going on within your environment, and if you are not able to understand, boss, what is happening, then this tool is of no use. You need to have people in order to monitor it as well. Clear, guys? Any questions?
No, it's
Kranti,
fine.
Saurabh?
Nothing so much.
Nothing from my side.
So I hope you guys are understanding it. Okay, and it is a little sidetrack, I understand it, but it is very important for you to understand what exactly file integrity monitoring solution is and how it works. Now, I have experience into SOC team. I started my career with SOC team, so that's why I have a little hands-on experience as well as to how the incidents are getting detected, how the incidents are getting tackled, and how to create the correlation as well, right? Here we were discussing about having the correlation, right? So I have a little bit of experience about this as well. So it's a very I would say an interesting field, because you can be able to see what is happening on a real time basis. So if you see that array bhai attack is happening, so how to react under pressure. Okay, so that's a very crucial aspect of working for the SOC team. Right. All right. So, is it a good time to start about the tripwire specifically, or you guys still have any questions like Maithili had about the requirement within PCI DSS? Okay, I'll take it as a no. So, just give me a second. Right. Can you see my screen? The tripwire enterprise.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we can see.
Okay, the agenda for today, as we mentioned, introduction, as we already had, I got to know you people, you got to know me as a trainer or the instructor. Then we are going to discuss about the overview. What exactly is Tripwire? What is file integrity monitoring solution? What are the different key features and the benefits of Tripwire? And of course we'll talk about security compliance as well. And last but not the least, as I mentioned, I just don't want this session to be boring session, so I have kept little quiz as well, just for me to understand how much have you grasped in today's lecture. Okay, it's not very difficult, it's very 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 easy, but still, just to give me the surety and to prepare myself for tomorrow, I have kept this quiz just for me to understand whether I'm going right, whether I'm going wrong, do I need to change something of that sort. Okay, so uh, is everyone clear with the agenda?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
fine,
yes.
so I'll just move on. So what is Tripwire? Tripwire is, as I mentioned, it was developed by Tripwire itself, but apparently now the owners are changed and the owners are currently Forta. Okay, Forta. It is designed to protect the critical systems and sensitive data from cyber threats, unauthorized changes, and compliance violation. Okay. Now, before I move on, guys, are you aware about something called as hardening?
Device hardening.
Yes. Can you explain what is the hardening?
So it's depends upon the organization. So each organization have their own standards for the device hardening.
No,
So
but
it's
that is fine. I am explaining, what exactly is the hardening. I mean,
hardening is nothing but streamlining the configurations like what we can say. Suppose starting from the device name to it's more about the device configuration. How we are going to basic device configuration. There are certain standards to implement the device configuration.
okay. Uh, Saurabh or Maithili, would you like to give it a shot? Have you
Yeah, I
guys, first of all,
mean,
have you guys heard about
yeah,
hardening,
yeah.
NBSS? Okay, tell me.
No, I'm not aware of it.
Okay.
Okay, I mean,
Saurabh,
securing the device and data, just like regular patches update, name nomenclature provided so that it could be easily identified, and proper updates are sending these kind of things.
you mentioned about patching. Are you sure patching is a part of the hardening?
I mean, I believe OS update these kind of things.
Again, guys, question for you. I mean, is
Device
patching is patching equal to hardening?
no, 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 no. So it's more about reducing the vulnerability risk to the systems or device. More focus is about reducing the system vulnerability.
Yeah, I mean, standards as per I mean,
Yeah,
everyone
standard.
has different standards.
You guys are giving me definition for both. Okay, you guys are telling me what is patching. You guys are telling me what is hardening. But I'm trying to understand. if you guys can properly differentiate, okay, the definition of patching is XYZ and definition of hardening is ABC. Can you be able to do that? Now I'm getting a little mixed between the answers. So I'd like to
Patching is nothing but a security patch updates, updating, keep ourselves updating in order to from device hardening
okay, why do
Device
we perform patching? Why do we perform patching?
patching so
for
that
better
latest
functionality.
latest
But
updates and the latest market standards, just for example Windows, so latest updates are there which has been properly tested by Microsoft and proper updates as per the company standards and latest software patches, all vulnerability threats which have been detected and they have been reduced in the latest patches, so it should be kept updated as per the latest market.
Patches or for bug fixes also.
Yeah, bug fixes also, yeah.
Everything, yeah, to enhance our security features as well as
and what is the free and what about hardening? I mean, I heard Kranti was telling me that it is configuration, streamlining the configuration. This is what you mentioned. You also mentioned about securing the device. But Saurabh, anything from your side you'd like to cover as a part of the hardening?
I mean that only. I mean, just like uh, we can disable just like unused applications or something like that.
Unused applications or
I mean,
unused services,
yeah, unused services.
unused
Yeah,
ports. Okay,
yeah, unused services or any accounts. In some laptops, there are different accounts, multiple accounts. So unused accounts. So avoid any security threat like that.
correct, correct, correct. Very good. I mean, I would like to appreciate the the uh, uh, the attempt, I would say. So patching, what is patching? As Kranti had correctly mentioned, patching is basically in order to ensure that the bug fixes that are happening, right? For example, today I'm using Windows 11. Now in Windows 11, if I identify a bug, now that bug is reported to Microsoft. That Microsoft, when acknowledges it, okay, but this is something that is not right, it's not correct. So what they do is they will create a CVE. Have you heard about CVE?
yes, yes, yes. There will
So
be a
what
number for the CV. Yeah.
exactly? So what they will do is they will create a CVE for that. Now CVE, for that particular CVE, they will release fix. Okay, they will for example, if we get hurt, okay, then what we do is basically put a band-aid or put some stitches, okay, whenever wherever that particular problem area is. So similarly what they will do is what Microsoft will do is they will create a patch. Was temporary, I'm fixing it, okay. Now if you implement this particular fix, okay, you will be safe from the further attacks that might be happening, okay. So this is the definition of patching. Now patching, you guys must have heard, uh, you know every second Tuesday, every month, second Tuesday, uh, there is a patch that patches are getting released by the Microsoft. Okay, this is the very standard cycle that they have. Now, in terms of different OS, for example, Red Hat, for example, Solaris, they have different frequencies. Now, the part of the IT team is to basically understand when these particular patches are getting released and then apply those particular patches onto the system. Now, this is a very frequent activity, as I mentioned, they do. For example, monthly patching of the Windows server. This is a very frequent activity that they do. Quarterly patching of the Red Hat servers. Okay, so this is frequently that we are carrying out. But in terms of hardening, hardening is a different board game altogether. Hardening, when we do hardening, is basically when we want to put the server into the production itself. Now it is also called as MBSS, okay, minimum baseline standard. मिनिमम बेसलाइन स्टैंडर्ड के अंदर what I will write, okay, there is a CIS का guidelines, okay. Now CIS guideline, for example Microsoft Windows Server 2016. Now what CIS will tell me, okay, so these are the standards, okay, I don't want this particular service to be enabled. So what I will do as an IT guy, I will disable this particular service. Okay. As a part of the CIS, they will tell me my password length, the length of my password should be of 16 character. It has to have an upper case. It has to have a lower case. It has to have a special character. All of this stuff, right? This is all mentioned within your hardening. Now you might get a prompt, okay, when you are changing the password for an example, you might get a prompt that okay, your password is weak. You need to have one additional special character, or you're missing an uppercase. Now this is, mind you, these are all part of your hardening. Any questions or on this particular statement?
Okay,
Hmm.
just like you were telling that password that this should be of this length and this character, that is called hardening that you are referring, right?
That is one of the part of the hardening, and
Okay, okay,
other is something that okay, for example, I don't need to have the FTP server enabled for this particular server. Okay,
okay,
that is something that can be also added as a part of the hardening. Now again,
okay,
In
if you
our
want,
environment also, we'll do for the network device, we'll do device hardening like after logging into the device, the banner should be appear and
exactly.
and SSH version. Suppose if it is SSH version is one or something, we need to update SSH version to something like we will do this kind of things as per
Exactly.
the device hardening.
Right. So what just to explain Maithili and Saurabh, what Kranti was mentioning, when you try to log into TCS workstation, right, you get a prompt by saying this is a confidential property. Any
yes, yes,
unauthorized changes or any authorized violation on this workstation will be reported, etc., etc. So that is something called as a banner. Now that banner is also part of your hardening requirement. Okay. Now, if you want to study more, and I will enforce you guys to do it, is read any of the CIS standard. Okay. These are very much available over the internet. And if you can just go to CIS website, you will be able to see, and you will be able to understand what exactly those hardening requirements are. And these varies from OS to OS. For example, for Windows Server, I will have a different hardening standard. For Red Hat, I will have a different hardening standard altogether. So you guys can check what exactly it is and why it is important in our relation is Tripwire file integrity monitoring solution. Although it is a file integrity monitoring solution, it will provide you the score based on your hardening check. Now, for example, there are 100 checks for CIS. Okay, I need to have a password of 16 characters. This is one check. I need to have at least one uppercase within my password. That is my second check. Now, just to give you an example, if there are 100 checks and if I'm complying with 90 checks, 90, then what Tripwire will do is by doing some by doing some check in the background, it will tell you that your server is 90% hardened, that your server is 90% compliant with the CIS. Okay, any questions?
So just one question here. So you're saying that it is 90% compliance. So these number of checks or device hardening checklist which is there, it is different for different kind of servers. It is different for different kind of devices.
Yes, it is. It is. For each operating server flavor, CIS has a different hardening standard altogether. Now it is up to you as an administrator to select which is the best that is available, which is the best that is suitable for your environment. Now you mentioned Maithili about PCI DSS. Now for PCI
Yes.
DSS also there is one hardening checklist that is available. Okay, on CIS ka portal.
Okay.
So you can check
Okay.
on CIS portal what is the version. For example, if you are using Windows 2016, now you have to check on the CIS the CIS website what is the version that is on, and you have to implement or import those particular standards within your console, and then you have to run the check. Clear?
So is there any standard that this much percentage should be achieved for the device hardening, or is it always expected to be 100%?
No, very good question, Maithili. Now it depends on organization to organization. As we discussed, even the policies. Now for your company, the policies, the security policies are different. For my company, the security policies are different. Now you guys might be using one of the services which you require. Okay, but that particular service may not be available, may not be applicable for me because I have a different set of policies altogether. Now what you do as an administrator, okay, first thing first is basically you get uh, the the report from the tripwire to understand that these are my set of rules and this is the level of compliance that I want to achieve. Now for example, if you're getting 90% compliant and you are failing for those particular 10 items, now there's something called as exceptions or waivers in terms of tripwire. Have you guys heard about have you guys aware about what is the exception or the waivers in the risk
Yes.
man? Have you guys worked in the risk management assessment? So you guys must be aware
Yes.
about this terminology. Okay.
Yeah.
Kranti, Saurabh, if you guys are not aware, I'll explain you what exactly it means.
So Makan, can you please repeat?
So the question here is, are you guys aware about risk exceptions or risk acceptance or risk waivers? Are you guys aware about these terminologies?
Yeah, little bit have a
Yeah,
little bit idea.
aware about that.
Explain you what exactly. Now, for example, you have a legacy server. Legacy server, matlab, let's take an example. Windows.
Makaran, sorry to disturb you. Your voice is a little low now.
Okay, am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay. Now let's take an example within our infrastructure that um, how do I put it? Exceptions. Okay. Okay. Let's take an example, a very simple example of a risk exception. Okay. Now let's suppose that you have an application which is a legacy application. Okay. Now that legacy application is only and only compatible with your Windows 2008. Okay. Now, if suppose I try to upgrade the server, okay, you guys must be aware that Windows 2000 was already USL. Okay, R2 जो भी है, I think it is way back. It is USL now that they're using Windows 23 or 22 or Windows 2016. But 2008 is already USL. Now, in order to function my legacy application, I need to have this Windows 2008 R2 server. Am I clear? So what will happen? Okay, there is a set of people. Of course, security is one of them. Now, security consultant or a security assessor, he will raise a flag to the management or to the infrastructure team. Boss, we see a lot of challenges with the USL server because the patches are not getting released because there are different security vulnerabilities that are existing on that particular server. You need to upgrade that particular Windows 2008 server. Clear? Now, what will happen is infrastructure team will say, if suppose, or application team will say, my application is not compatible with 2016, Windows 2016 server. If I upgrade my operating system, my application will break. Now, what needs to be done in this case? Now, the option that we have is something called as risk exceptions. Okay, are you getting me? Risk exception, what it will do is we will document it in a proper format. You guys might be using any tools. If you guys are not using any tools, even on the Excel sheet, it is for fine. So what we will do is we will identify a vulnerability. Vulnerability is we are using 2008 Windows R2 server, which is already end of life and end of support. Okay. What is the risk? Risk is it might be breached by the security security vulnerabilities. Okay, and what could be the impact? The impact could be, if it in terms of the financial, it could be an impact of $100K or something or that sort. So that particular metrics is created, and we go to management and we tell management that these are the challenges because of which we cannot upgrade Windows 2008 server, and this is the risk. We need your formal sign off. Now this is what we call as a risk exceptions or risk exceptions. Spelling is ACEPTIONS. Accept कर रहे हैं हम लोग. We are accepting this particular risk that is existing. Okay, management will give you a sign off by saying, okay, we understand the challenges, but due to XYZ reasons, we cannot do it. Okay, so similarly, Methili, to answer your question, if I see that there are 90 compliance checks that are I am getting checked or passed, now there are pending 10%. Okay, there are pending 10%. You need to evaluate with the help of application owners. You need to evaluate with your infrastructure team. You need to evaluate with your IT team. Now there is a set of people who are, who joins this particular meeting that discuss, boss, this is the problem area that we have, and you need to basically find out a way. If they say, okay, because of this and this particular dependency, we get a formal sign off from their management by saying because of XYZ reasons we cannot be able to mitigate this particular thing, and then we have to document it. Now if in case your PC auditor will come, you can just tell them that this is something that we have, this is something that we have an exception in place from the XYZ application owner. Am I clear, guys?
Yes. So what I understand is that whatever is the percentage that we achieve, the remaining has to be properly documented and signed off by the respective teams.
Exactly. Yes, Mathil, that is correct. Now again, you need to push them. Okay, you cannot just say, okay, boss, you just because you are saying we will accept it. You need to a little give push as well to them. Try to identify some of the compensatory controls as well. Okay, so this is another way of how you document the risks or how you manage the risk. Okay, just the risk exception is the last resort is what you need to understand. Okay, if nothing is working, then boss, document it and identify what could be the impact. Now your risk management people, your risk assessment people will come into the picture, and they will help you to assess this particular risk. Okay, so that is how it is.
Sure, got it.
Kranti, Saurabh, is it 100% clear in your mind, or you do you guys have any questions around it?
Oh, it's clear, clear
Understood.
from
It's
my
clear.
side.
Understood.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, now Tripwire again with the help of in the context of Tripwire, compliance violation is also checked by Tripwire. Okay, moving on. It is a sophisticated security platform in order to enhance the security posture of the organization by offering features such as asset discovery. Now, one of you guys told me that from the operations team, you were able to see the smart nodes and stuff like that from the Tripwire, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the session they have showed us.
Yeah. So what it will do is, as a part of the asset discovery, if in case there is any asset that is up and running, but at times what happens is even asset management team doesn't know that this particular server is up and running because no one is using that particular thing, right? So Tripwire does the asset management as well. Okay, so it will be able to identify that this particular server is lying somewhere and it is up and running with the agent details as well. So that particular feature is also available. Okay. As I mentioned, security compliance, incident detection capability is very important, and overall risk reduction it will provide. Incident detection, guys, mind you, as I mentioned, it is a forensic solution. It will detect the problem areas, and then it will be forwarded to the SIM solution in order to take the actions whichever is required. Okay, now one of the example that I gave you is around the configuration file changes. Now if I'm trying to see, if I try to see that boss something is not going correct, right? That particular alert or that particular log can be generated to the SIM solution, and then the SOC team will be alerted. Okay. Tripwire, it is file integrity monitoring solution. It will monitor critical system files and configuration for any unauthorized changes in order to ensure integrity and security of the system. Now you might wonder, boss, critical system files and configuration, how would I know that this particular how would I know that, uh, within the operating system, how many critical file systems or configuration files that I have? Okay, that's a very valid and that's a very genuine question that that anyone might get. But just to update you, Tripwire does provide the operating system critical files by default. Now, what do I mean by that? If I have a Windows 2016 server, okay, so Tripwire will tell me that within Windows 2016, these are the files that you need to monitor. These are the set of files that you need to monitor by default. Okay, now you must be aware of system 32. You must be aware about the Cocker files. You must be aware about the configuration files and stuff like that. So by default, it will give you the critical system and files. So you don't have to put your brain to identify the system files. आपको ये you don't need to go into the details of this is maybe this is the critical file, this may not be the critical file. No, Tripwire does it automatically for you. Okay, there is a set of uh, uh, there is a set of what I can say uh, policies that are provided on the Tripwire console or Tripwire support portal. You just have to download those and implement those. That's it. That's it, guys. It's literally plug and play. Security configuration is one of the second key feature that we have. As I mentioned, to secure the configuration across the IT infrastructure by providing tools for policy enforcement and compliance. This is what we just discussed about the CIS benchmark or the hardening. Okay. Now you might say, I don't have the PCI DSS infrastructure, but by default, you should have CIS benchmarks implemented in order to understand the in order to understand the hardening level or compliance level within your organization. Now, what do I mean by that? Uh, for example, for example, team might forget to implement the password complexity stuff. So it's a very hazardous problem that we have, right? If suppose they are saying, okay, even 2 character is okay to implement, so that is a very problematic area that we might have. So with the help of this, you need to run the compliance check in order to understand what is the compliance level that we have within our organization, and provide time to time reports to the management, to the IT team, if in case there is a deviation that is happening. Okay, guys, any question on security configuration on MBSS or compliance check?
No.
Nothing from my side.
Okay, risk-based security analysis is one of the key feature that we have. Okay, as I mentioned, it is it is the real-time detection that happens. Okay, there are two type of detection. One is real-time and one is the custom type. Okay, real-time, what happens in real-time? Okay, if I'm trying to monitor one of the file, and which I think is extremely crucial. For example, let's take the user file. Okay, when I create a user in the Windows, right, there is a file that gets changed. Okay, if I want to see who is that particular user that is getting added, who is that particular user that is getting deleted, that particular files, right, those are also getting monitored with the help of this particular analytics. Okay, so immediately you will be notified that the user has been added, and or the user has been deleted or something of that sort. So this particular thing that can be also identified. Again, as I mentioned, this is one of the use case. There are many use cases of Tripwire file integrity monitoring, but this is one of the use case that we have. Incident response and investigation. One of the beautiful feature that it provides is basically it will give you what is the current state. Now, for example, let me just give you an example. Okay, just a second. Let me open up a new template for you guys. Just give me a second. Okay. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know once it is visible. Okay.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Now I have a text file. Okay. Imagine that this is a text file A, B, C, and I have another text file. Now I will discuss about this. Okay. A, B, C. This is the text file that I have. Okay, guys. This is an configuration file. Let's take an example that this is one of the configuration file that I have. Now on 26th of March, 26th of March, this particular ABC configuration file is looking like this. Okay. Now someone has made changes and now on 27th of March, this file is looking like ABCDE. Okay. Now what according to you guys will be changed? Now I've added D on 27th of March. What according to you guys have changed apart from this letter D?
The hash
Type.
value or file integrity value must be changed.
Exactly, Kranti. You're bang on. Now for ABC text file, the hash that we had was 1345 AB. Okay. Now as soon as I change any value, right? This will be changed like Z, X, F, N, O, 7, 8, 10. Okay. This integrity will be the integrity or the hash will be changed. Okay. Now Tripwire is such a beautiful tool that we have right now. What it will do is, okay, this is the current state of the file. Okay. Change the color. This is the current state of the file. But on 26th of March, this is not how the file looked like. File was looking like this. Now what Tripwire will tell you? Tripwire will tell you, number one, integrity has been changed. Integrity. Second, it will show you literally in the same fashion that old file used to look like this and the new file looks like this. Okay. Third thing, and the most important thing, who has made this particular changes? This is a very, very, very important aspect about the file integrity monitoring. Now, you guys must have heard something called as uh, uh, I'm forgetting the name. Non-repudiation. Have you heard about non-repudiation? What is non-repudiation?
Or the
Yeah,
word, but not sure
non-repudiation.
what is mean. What is that? What does it
Yeah,
mean?
have heard, but not able to recall it. What does it actually mean?
Okay. Non-repudiation means if suppose I can see that Mr. X has made the changes and I could see it in the logs. Mr. X cannot deny that he has made the changes. He cannot deny. So non-repudiation means Mr. X is basically responsible for the changes that are happening in this particular file. And how do we verify that? With the help of our solution, which is called as Tripwire. So non-repudiation is basically confirming that the changes that has been done in this particular file are done by Mr. X, and Mr. X cannot deny the action that he has taken. Now he might say, okay, my system was hacked. He might say that, my system was stolen, blah, blah, blah. But the changes are detected by Mr. X's system or by his ID. Clear, guys? It's very important for you to understand.
Yeah, yeah. So just like you have mentioned the second point, the trip file will reflect old and the new. So does it also shows exactly what changes has been made?
Yes,
It will.
yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. So this is what
Okay.
I
Okay.
mentioned, right? So on 26th of March, your file was looking like ABC. On
Okay.
27th of March, you added just one simple character, okay? But
Okay.
even by adding that one simple character, the integrity of the file got changed. This is very
Okay.
important. So
Okay.
SHA-1 for the old file was looking like this. For the new for the new file, the SHA will look like this. So this is how the tripwire will understand that something is not right. Basically, it is a deviation. Okay, very
Okay.
important
Okay.
term. Deviation from the baseline. Okay,
Okay.
deviation from the baseline. So this is what it means.
Got it.
And as I mentioned, integrity has changed. The old file was looking like this, new file is looking like this, and who has made the changes. This is something that will be that will be highlighted to you as a part of
Okay.
the change. Any questions, guys? Very important, very, very, very important. All right, I'll take it as a no. Let's move on. Okay, so this is something that we discussed. What are the key features? File integrity monitoring, compliance check, risk-based security analytics, and obviously, last but not the least, incident response and investigation. Investigation is very important because it will give you the analysis as to who has made the changes, what the changes has been made, and at what time. Okay.
So by incident, it only means that it will give me the analysis that what changes are done, who has done it. That's what it's kind of uh, the analysis that this has been done. These changes have been done to the system.
Yes. Yes. Incident response. Again, as I mentioned, this is a डिटेक्टिव कंट्रोल. ओके, इंसिडेंट
Yeah.
होने के बाद मुझे ये बताएगा कि इंसिडेंट हो गया है करके. It will not prevent me from doing it. What will prevent me from doing it? Solutions such as intrusion prevention solutions, access control solutions, web application firewall solutions. These are all your preventive solutions. Now, forensic solutions or detective control is basically your file integrity monitoring or your SIEM for that matter, Splunk, right? Splunk
Hmm.
for that matter. It will
Yes.
highlight the changes as and when they're happening on the real time basis. Something is not going right. So if you see the CCTV camera, right? CCTV is one of the detective control that we have. Okay. You cannot go and stop the thief from doing what he's stealing right now, but what you can do is you can see that what he is doing, and what his face looks like, or through which gate he is entering or through which gate he is exiting. All of that stuff can be checked. Okay. Now thief, right? Once you see his face on the camera, he cannot tell you that boss ye to main hui nahi. This is someone else. Okay. He cannot tell you once his photo is visible on the CCTV. And this is exactly what the non-repudiation means. He cannot say, okay, by even looking at the by the log entry, by who were doing, who has done the changes, he cannot say all of this stuff. Clear, guys? Let's move on. Any other question before I move on to the next slide, guys?
Nothing from my side.
Thank you. We'll take no from Kranti and Maithili as well. Okay, key feature and benefits again. As I mentioned, compliance is one of the important feature that it has. Operational efforts or operational efficiency. Now, what do I mean by operational efficiency? It automates my security task. Now, what do I mean by again? Automate karta hai, matlab what exactly it will do is it will send the logs to my SIM solution. As I mentioned, I don't need to be sitting in front of my Tripwire console 24 across 7. Okay, he has done the changes. Okay, I need to raise an alert. No, I don't have to do that. Immediately, as soon as the changes are getting detected, it will pop up an alert. You have to define that. If you want an email communication that needs to be happening, you have to just mention your SMTP configuration and you will receive an email immediately on the real time basis. If you want to do an SIM configuration, you can do that. Again, as I mentioned, you don't need to manually put the file systems. Okay. For example, I need to monitor system 32. I need to monitor Cocker files. I need to monitor some of the properties file. I don't need to do that. Tripwire will do it automatically for you. You just have to press a few buttons, few clicks, and then your Tripwire will be, desired to do what you want him to do. Okay, so that is how the operational efficiency means. Next, what we have is the dashboard and reporting. Now, Tripwire is extremely famous for the level of reports and the dashboard that it is providing. Now, for example, if I'm doing or someone is doing the changes, okay, and I want to understand, okay, what were the changes that were done by Mr. X uh, 6 months back. So that level of granular detail or that level of reporting is also possible. Okay. Mr. X on this particular server, he has done ABC changes. Now show me the report for that. Within a few clicks, you will be able to get that particular report. Okay. So it's a very important feature. Now for a specific server, okay, for example, if I have a AD server, I want to understand within AD servers in the month of February 2024, if I want to see how many users that got added in that particular AD server, within a few clicks, you will be able to see in your report that those many people were added, those many people were deleted. Dashboard reporting. Now what do I mean by dashboard? Okay, it's a very customizable dashboard that I want to see. From person to person it differs. Now as an administrator, if I want to see how many nodes are on the healthy side, now that particular dashboard I can create. Okay? At the end of the day, it is a agent based or agentless communication that is happening, right? So if in case there is any node that is unhealthy, now unhealthy means it will not be able to detect the changes from that particular server. That particular thing, we can be able to customize it based on the dashboard configuration that we have. Okay, it's a very, again, as I said, there are variety of dashboard, there are variety of reports that are available within Tripwire. Trust me, I have used Tripwire for more than 5 years. I was not able to utilize all of the reporting functions. Okay, I used to use only 6 to 7, whichever were required for the audit purpose, whichever were required for my operational tasks. Other apart from that, there are tons of other reporting functions that features that are available, but I personally did not use it. Okay, integration capabilities. Again, Methili, to answer your question, it has capability to integrate with any SIM solution. Okay. Guys, do you know what is an ITSM? or a change management solution? Have you guys used BMC Remedy or ServiceNow?
Yeah, we have service now.
ServiceNow, okay. So that particular integration is also possible with the help of Tripwire. I will tell you what is the use case that we have in the future, in the probably in tomorrow's or day after tomorrow's session. Why and what is the requirement of this particular integration? But just for an FYI purpose, just note that integration is possible with the ITSM solutions. Risk-based security audits, as I mentioned, it will identify the suspicious activity and it will report the security incidents on the real-time basis. Okay, if suppose there is something that is fishy that is happening, it will immediately raise an alert. Again, as an administrator, it is your responsibility. It is your job to configure it in that way. Okay, it is not that okay. It is not like that if you're not configuring it properly, it will basically not give you the alert. So SMTP configuration, if you're doing, you have to ensure that the proper ports are open from the network side. Proper SMTP server configuration that you are putting is getting tested, and the reports that are getting generated uh, are, uh, are properly are done properly from your side as well. Okay, so these are very important aspects of the Tripwire. Moving on, compliance. Okay, now this is something that we discussed already in the beginning of the slide, but still it is very important why we need to have the security compliance. Now, security compliance, as I mentioned, it can be your PCI DSS. Okay, it can be your any general local laws. Now in India we don't use it. In India security is not taken that seriously, but in the outside in the foreign countries, right, they have different laws and regulations such as PDPA, GDPR, NYDFS and stuff like that. So regulatory requirements are there. uh, for PCI DSS, as I mentioned, I think it is 10.3.4